Hello and welcome to another show, Crossing Bridges Talk Show. This is Crossing Bridges, the talk show, a show for Black men and youth to talk about fatherhood and other things. My name is Larry Montgomery. I'm your host, Larry Montgomery Sr. I'm your host. This is my co host. Introduce yourself.
Evening, everyone. My name is William Lamont Montgomery. I'm the son of Larry Montgomery Sr., and I'm glad to be here today. Thanks for watching.
Um, what we're going to talk about today is friendship. Now, you may think that, well, why are you going to talk about friendship? What's all that about? Well, really, when you think about it, and I really didn't think a lot about it, we just kind of came up with it. Um, Understanding what friendship is important. I mean, a lot of us, it just kind of happens. And then as we go through life, we start to see that not all people have the same definition of the word friend. And so you kind of learn by trial and error what the definition is. So we took the time to actually look it up, Google it, and found some definitions. And I'm sure most of you probably have experienced these things, different kinds of friendships, but you never really stop to think, well, if I have to explain that to somebody else, such as a son or daughter, younger person, what would I say? Personally, I probably would have said yesterday, you got to be careful with who you call a friend. Now, we might call them a friend and they're not really a friend. They may just be friendly, which is understandable, or they could be an acquaintance, such as our Facebook followers. They may be acquaintances. We may not actually know them personally. They may know someone that we know or that we have known in the past, and by that card they played, we let them join our page, which is not really good. I personally get a lot of people who want to join my page. My voice is cracking. Excuse me. But if you don't tell me anything about you, I'm not going to allow you on my page. Not that there's anything fantastic happening on my page. I'm usually just looking for news, real news, not fake news. Okay. But what I do is I look at what you bring to the table. If you don't say where you live, you don't say where you work, you don't say anything about you, I'm not interested in putting you on, letting you on my page. You know, if you put something up there that we may be able to connect on, then I would think that there might be a reason you bring something to the table. You know, but trust me, I don't have a problem hitting the delete button, unfriend or whatever you call it, quick in a hurry. So post something that is just outrageous. Sometimes, and I'm not trying to get off the topic. We're going to get on in a second. Is people put up stuff that might be relevant and interesting to them, but it ain't interesting to everybody. You know, sometimes you put up a picture, and I scroll down and see that's in my head. That image doesn't go where you need to be careful what kind of images you put up there. Oh, that was funny to you. Okay, may not be funny to anybody else. Do you see anybody else on your page putting up stuff like that? If so, you don't see it on my page. So don't put it on my page because I don't want to see it. You know. And so, oh, well, he's too conservative. He's just, whatever. He all stuck up. So what? It works for me. And if it don't work for you, delete, 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 delete.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So, did you want to talk about the topic first, or did you want me to just kind of give you what I found?
I mean, of course, we're going to address what you found, but I think friendship is very important.
Mm.
Who I call friend is very. You can't call everybody. I mean, you can call people whatever you want,
Mm.
but to me, the definition of friend, very few people meet that, standard. So I'm very particular about who I call a friend. I do acknowledge that there's people that I'm friendly with.
Mm.
Um, I don't necessarily say that they're my friend. Uh, I consider most people associates. If I know your name, I know where you came from. Okay, we work together. You're an associate.
Mm.
If we've actually, sat down or traveled somewhere and, have a connection or something like that, you're closer to a friend to me than an associate. So, but, whether I say, hey, we're cool or that's my friend, it's still a difference between, those titles.
I think people probably, when they introduce you to someone else, is when they really help you to understand how they define you in your relationship with them. If I say, "Oh, well, this is my son," well, clearly that's all love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm saying, "Well, oh, this is Bob," you know, is he your friend? He's just somebody I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's my friend Bob. Oh, so you're friends, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or this is my boy over here, my homeboy, play cousin. Yeah, Bob.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, huge difference.
Right. They all mean something different. And a lot of people will pick up on it as to, okay, well, I can be open and honest if I'm already have a relationship with Larry and he's introducing me to Bob and he says, well, this is Bob, then I'm probably not going to say all the things I might have said in front of Bob until I understand who Bob is.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say, well, oh, that's your boy, okay, well, then I can pretty much say whatever I'm going to say, unless it's personal between me and you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if it's personal between me and you, I'm probably going to hold off on it until I really get to know Bob myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to talk about that in a second, the different definitions there are. And I have probably a number of examples that I have lived with. I think over my life, 69 years and counting.
69 years young.
Yeah. I don't know about all that part, but yeah. Been here for 69, oh, thank God. Okay. Um, I've had fake friends.
Mm-hmm.
I've had friends. I've had people I've been friendly with. I've had a couple. And I'm thinking now, 3 friends,
Mm-hmm.
people that I can call friends. And I'm really thinking at 2 where they come to mind. If there's a third one out there, I'm just giving, kind of hedging my
Benefit of the doubt.
and a friend. It should have been more, okay, but then when they really reveal, sometimes other people can tell you who's your friend, who's not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
You think about that. So, oh yeah, well, me and so and so cool. We do everything together and so on and so forth. I don't do everything with my friends. Period. So you can't say that about me. Nobody gonna know all my business.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm doing anything. I mean, when I was younger. But anyway, I had a friend for a long time. You know him, and it took your mother to say, that ain't your friend.
Mm.
And when I thought about it at first I was kind of mad because well, you don't know my friends. And I'm thinking about it at the same time. So, well, yeah, well, sometimes he act a little weird, and it's not really that friendly all the time. He's one of those good timing friends.
Mm.
When we having a good time, that's when he's there.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that over the years, when I would have money, I would, hey, yo, let's get together, meet me down at the restaurant, so and such and such. The bank's paying for it, and, you show up, yeah, uh, give me the top shelf. Yeah.
Mhm.
You paying a tip at least? No.
Mhm.
Okay. No problem. I'm taking care of it anyway. I don't invite you unless I'm going to pay, you know.
Mhm.
Um, learn that the hard way.
Mm.
Anyway, and so it's the kind of friend that would come by, but and then he would drop in, sometimes, always thirsty. Then when he leave, I'm always empty.
Mm. Mm.
Hey man, you ever bring one with you?
Mm.
know, something, can of beer,
What you
something.
got?
Yeah, bring a chaser, something.
Some ice?
Right. But then you go and you say, look, well, let's go out and get something. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Where's your half? Uh. Now we done got here to the store and you ain't got no money and you telling me now?
Mm. Mm.
Okay, well, we won't get top shelf today. That's all. That's okay.
Mm.
And so other things like that there. We be cooking out or something, call up, we gonna put something on the grill, if you're gonna come by. Yeah, okay, there. But like, holidays coming up, you got a call from no, I ain't heard from him. Ain't he cooking out? He got a bunch of kids over there.
Mm.
No, he's probably sponging off somebody else this weekend, the circuit.
Mm.
So, so then you're like, okay, well, let's invite him over to the house, and, have dinner or something, it'd be cool. Oh man, I can't make it. I was on my way, but my daughter called me and said, she needed a ride. Well, shoot, she knew where she was going. She ain't had no car.
Mm.
Didn't you tell her that you was coming over to my house? Whatever. So now you could only come over when it's me and you sitting and drinking. But you can't come over when it's time to sit down with me and my wife and your wife and have dinner and socialize. So you think we can't cook?
Mm.
You could always bring, or reach in your pocket and pay, But, and it wasn't like I didn't know that this was going on. I just wouldn't say anything. I'm not going to try to hurt your feelings, And then your mother said, hey, you need to think about that fool. I said, okay. Well, I guess I have to cut that one loose, after years. And so, you have people like that who'll use you, you know. And their hand just will not reach, and they got hands like this here. They never get to the pocket, Their arms too short. And they be pinching off a $1 bill here. Yeah, that's a tip. Ooh. The bill is $150. You putting up a buck? Come on. So, but anyway, and then you have other friends who, people who you invite to your house. They invite you to their house, which is nice. You think, well, this might be a person that you could, have a relationship with. And then you start to watch and listen and think. And they sit there and they're talking about everybody up and down the street. I really didn't come over here to talk about people I don't know, might be funny, might be interesting or whatever, but all the time. So what do you do when you're with them? Who's on the list of people that you talk about? Probably me, So, I say, I can't do that. can't do that. So you get those kind of friends. Um, I had a friend who died. Oh man, he was like, I told you the story. That's how you got your name, William Stone. He he was the man. Back then he was barely teens and whatever. But he was well respected by the older crowd and all that kind of stuff. He's the only guy I know at about 15 could sit down with a bunch of grown folks and play bid whist. And I'm like looking and say, wow, I know how to play, but I ain't never played with no grown folks. I mean, whatever. They be playing pinocchles. And how you play pinochle? How many cards you got there in that deck? Golly. And he was well respected. And we were friends. And I think I was one of the few, I'd like to say one of the few real friends he had. One guy was bullying me one day, and I'm like, he said, you can't come back to the park. It's a housing project. It's a public park. You don't own it. Right, you can't come back. You come back over here. I'm going to deal with you. Okay. I knew his brother. I didn't want to have nothing to do with his brother. His brother was tough. And so, okay, so I guess I won't be coming to the park then, go home. And then Champ, that was his name, Champ. We called him. He said, yo, man, I'm going to the park. You come? Nah, man, Jeffrey told me I couldn't come to the park. What? Let's go to the park. Got to the park and Jeffrey was there. Jeffrey started looking. Champ looked at him. When you're going to play, you're playing next? Yeah, my boy here now. What you got to say?
Better recognize.
I'm all tough now, But it was funny, because you don't know. I wouldn't look for trouble, but I ain't gonna run. I just, I'd like to avoid it. And so Champ was that kind of guy. He was a champ. He was a champion. Always on top. And yeah, he died. I was sorry that he passed. I didn't get to go to his funeral. But this was a guy that had your back all the time. He didn't need me to have his back, but I was there for him. And it didn't have to be anything like bodacious or anything like that. This guy's going to attack us or something. I need you to go with me. It was stuff like, well, I'm not sure what's going on over here. What do you think? Hey, I think so and so. Well, at least I know I can get an honest answer from you. Everybody else is going to tell me what they think I want to know or want to hear. So you'll tell me the truth. So that's fine with me. I have a problem with that. But anyway, so I've had a variety of friends, frenemies.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of these definitions here real quick. Let me pull that up. Okay, what's the definition of a friend? Friendship should be something easy to understand. There is someone in your life who you talk to on a regular basis, share your feelings with, and they return the favor. Sometimes who you think is your best friend ends up stabbing you in the back. We've talked about that. On the opposite end, some friendships can come from people you least expect. What makes a good friend? What makes a bad friend? Friendship is one of those concepts you'd think would get easier as you grow older, but sometimes it seems to get even more complex. Now, what is a friend? A friend is someone other than your family or lover that you share close affection with. You share kindness, sympathy, empathy, compassion, common interests, common beliefs, loyalty, and fun with them. There are different degrees of friendship. casual. Um, let's see. Hold on. You may share a couple of interests with them, and you may talk sometimes, but you're not as deep as you could be. And that's how the friendship is. Other friends you're close to, you spend time whenever you can, and you've been through it all. And they give some examples of that. Let's see. And then they go on to talk about social media friends versus real friends. And we've talked about that. Friends versus acquaintances. An acquaintance is a person who you talk to on occasion, but the friendship bond is just not there. They won't be the person you talk to when problems are happening. That's an acquaintance. Odds are only a handful of people in your life are worthy to be your friend, while the others are actually acquaintances. And here's like a quick list of signs of a good friend. 1, always there for you. 2, listens and keeps secrets. 3, now let me dwell there for a second, because what's interesting, I'll put this down for a second. I might have to whisper this one because your mother might hear me. She has a friend, and they're good friends, you know. And so her friend told her a secret. And then your mother told me. And now she has an opinion that I can't carry water, but that's not true. So anyway, when your mother found out that I had told somebody else, but the friend had told her, ooh-wee, that didn't go well at all. And so I was in the doghouse for 2 weeks. Man, but my point is that not that I can't carry water, but because of the relationship. This is my wife, 47, 48 years. We don't have any secrets. It's impossible for us to have a secret. You know, I'm always there. She's always there. And so you being that person thinking that she was going to be able to hold that secret was fine. But the reality is we married, you know, and it came up, and yeah, so I found out. Okay. Not that it was anything earth shaking, you know, the little bit that she gave me, but obviously that was just enough to come full circle back. You know, oh God, it was just awful. But anyway, so even if they're a friend, you have to understand the dynamics of the relationship, because like Ron is my friend. If he tells me something, I'm probably not going to tell it to Joyce, because, I mean, your mother, because ain't nothing she'd be interested in. You know, it was guy talk. But if it was just happened to be something that was on that, you know, that line there, and I did mention it to her, then, you know, he would have to understand, well, that's my wife, you know, because he has a wife, and I'm sure he probably goes through the same thing. So the point is, you know, even though we are friends, or you are friends with someone, there are some things that, you know, you gotta be realistic, you know, especially if it's a crime. I mean, I think we talked about something like that a few weeks ago. You know, it's like, well, I like you, you know, we're friends, and I trust you and everything, but what you did borders on what really was a crime, you know. And if I'm ever pushed to, I'm not going to risk my life or my freedom for you. That'd be foolish. Oh man, you ain't my boy. You know, yeah, I thought you were my boy. You know? No, that's the truth. I ain't going to jail for you. And I ain't going to hire no lawyer for you, because you ain't going to bring my money back. So, there.
Friend would not put you in that position.
Right. You don't want to do that. You know, even I mean, even just in, you chatting or whatever, sometimes you want to brag, "Hey, I'm doing so. Yeah, that's an error. That's an error. Because now you brought somebody else into something that could be a problem for them. But let me go on. Let me pull this back up and finish up. Here's only a couple more. Um, a friend that will keep secrets. Yes, listens and keeps secrets. Number three, you feel good with them. Now you're happy to see them. Uh, Next, you're empathetic with them. If something bad happens to your friend, you feel bad as well, even if you were not directly affected. Okay. Now, friendship is an essential part of life. How do friends impact happiness? They go on to talk about the hatchet the hatchet bearer. A long-term friendship isn't going to be perfect. There are likely to be arguments and times when the two of you won't talk to each other. But a good friend knows that this is part of life and they are willing to bury the hatchet and try again. Signs of a bad friend. The user. I talked about that. The so-called friends only want you when they need something, be it a ride, be it money, or any other need that they have. Okay. The trash talker. Talked about that a minute ago. If your friend is always talking trash about their other friends to you, then don't think you're an exception because they feel comfortable talking around you about them. They feel comfortable talking to them about you. The one who can't take criticism. As friends, the two of you should help each other. And one of the ways you should help someone is sometimes to give them a pill that's hard to swallow. Meaning sometimes you got to tell them the truth, and I'm going to diverge for a second there. Who else is going to tell you the truth? People say they don't want to hurt your feelings. Okay. People say, well, ain't none of my business. You do you, I do me, whatever. But them pants that you wearing is high waters, bro. I don't care how much you like. They're high. You need to take them to the cleaners and get them hems let down. Oh man, I got this tattoo. Man, I'm looking good. Oh man, they misspelled that word. Now they mad, but the guy who made the tattoo ain't gonna tell you that he misspelled it. He gonna say, "That's what you said. That's what I wrote."
I sounded it out.
Right? Yes. Hey, cash. So give me mine.
It fix it, just a little bit more money.
And so you have friends who will want to tell you the truth. Sometimes you may have to ask them, tell me honestly, what do you think about so and so? This car looks good, right? Yeah, well, as long as you like high yellow, tires. I wouldn't ride in it, but it looks real good. Okay, let me get back to the list. One who can't take criticism. The one who can't tolerate differences. Now, this is kind of interesting. Friends get along because of their similarities. Few friends have ever bonded over their differences. With that said, the two of you are going to have some differences, be it hobbies, outlooks on life, and other such reasons. If your friend is always harping on you for what you believe and even stops talking to you because of the difference, they weren't much of a good friend in the first place. Then we go on to the flake. The flaky friend is one who is difficult to be friends with because they often have a reason to avoid you. Okay. If you're the one who is always making plans and they're the one who never hangs with you, despite always saying how much they miss you, they may not be a good friend. Okay. The pushy one, another kind of friend. On the other hand, if you have obligations such as work, school, or family, and your friend gets angry whenever you have to say no, then this can be a sign of a bad friendship as well. When these people that, as long as you're doing what they want you to do, it's okay. But when you have to do something that you want to do or have to do, they have a problem with it. Let's see now. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, here's one. Um, some people don't have friends, which is interesting. There's a reason they don't have friends. And so you think you're special and you want to make them your friend. That would be error. Okay. They got no friends for a reason. And you're about to find out why they don't have friends. Okay. And so usually when we want to identify someone as a friend is when if something goes wrong with them, you feel bad about it. You feel, oh wow, dag man, they stole your car. Oh wow, man, that's, can I give you a ride? Done that too. You riding them around, you think they buy gas? Nope. Donate something to the insurance bill? I'm going out of my way to drop you at your spot as opposed to just taking you to the bus stop. It's raining outside, so you call me to come out of my bed to go pick you up. No, it's not really a friend, But anyway, so those were some definitions. And so I guess as a father, having that conversation, you have some things to work with now to explain to your younger person what friendship is, And a true friend is a true friend, man. It's like a diamond in the rough. You gotta work with that one. You ain't perfect, they ain't perfect. So you gotta be able to, give and take type of a thing. And you give and take because you want to. There was one point I didn't say. You have a good friend when you can pick up the phone and call them after years go by and you start talking and it's just like you talked to them yesterday, even though years have gone by. And so me and my mother's relationship was like that. I mean, I didn't have to go see her every weekend. I probably should have, but I didn't. But I could always pick up the phone, and call her, and it'd be just like, we was talking this morning, and so that feeling has never left me. So I never, even though she's gone, I don't feel that she's gone. I kind of feel, I guess, I could pick up the phone one day and just call her and we'll just start chatting, that's it. So anyway, did you want to add to the conversation?
I've seen several instances of those similar traits. You got people that, just because they call you a friend, because they see those qualities in you, don't mean that they're reciprocating those same qualities. So, I mean, it's okay for you to maybe treat somebody in a friendly manner, but just because you treat them like a friend, don't mean that they're going to do the same for you. Hey, like my father was just saying, like, if somebody steals somebody's car and I know them, I might feel compelled to say, you know what, I'll help you out. I mean, I'm not going to carry you for the rest of your life. It's a temporary basis, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I mean, I've learned my lesson. I had a friend. Well, it started off, he was my barber. So, you build trust with your barber. And I was new to the area and I would go to certain places and we run into each other. And I'm like, oh, hey, you like to do the same thing I like to do? Okay, cool. Well, he's from a certain town and his family, whole family, pretty much lived there, uncles, cousins, everything. But for some reason, he couldn't stay with some people in his family. He needed a place to stay one time. You know, I let him stay with me. Supposed to be for 3 days. Yeah, month 2 and 3 started getting old. But take him to work, because he couldn't drive, didn't have a car.
You didn't see that coming?
Huh?
You didn't
I
see
mean,
that coming?
like you feel bad for somebody. I mean, I knew his situation, but at the same time, if you don't take the time to think about it, why is this person in that situation? When you start thinking about, wait, you have family in this area. I have no family in this area. I can't be like, my father, you're in a different state.
Mm.
I'm in Georgia, you're in New York.
Mm.
If my car break down, I can't say, hey, Dad, can you pick me up and take me to work? You'd be like,
Very cool.
not today. You're going to have to call in sick, son. I mean, but, I know this guy, I'm like, okay, and it got to the point where, it eventually, it opened up my eyes because I was like, I'm like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm helping him out, you know what I'm saying? And he was kind of pushing the limits. And I would address it to him, and I felt like, sorry,
There you go.
and somebody must be outside. Oh,
Oh.
dog. Sorry, everybody.
I had to give him a credit.
Yeah. Roof, shout out. Well, this so-called friend of mine, because I considered him a friend at the time, but when my eyes were open, because of the, kind of, he was like a leech, to make it quick. I'm taking him to work. I didn't ask him to pay any rent. Wouldn't put up no gas money. Like he'll go out, and then I got school age kids at the time in my house. He comes to the door 2:00 in the morning because I didn't give him a key. I was smart. That was the good thing I did. But he would ring the doorbell, and I'm like, okay, we got school age kids in this house. They got to go to school. They got to be at school at 6, 7 in the morning. You come and ring the bell at 2:00 in the morning. You have no consideration for me or my family. So one, he might have made a mistake. Two, I really need to get to I need to address this. Third time is like, look, man, look, you grown. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but that's not acceptable. Like, yeah, I know. All right, you try to cut somebody some slack because sometimes, people don't have that home training. I mean, I might not have as much home training as the next person, but if they sit down and they say, hey, look, this is how I do stuff in my house. I got to respect that because this is their house, So I gave him that chance. Okay, I explained it to him. And then it took, and it seems pretty trivial, but it meant it really kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm not a big alcohol drinker. I do drink alcohol. And I had some alcohol that I purchased, pretty expensive stuff. And I had it in my garage. Every day I pull out, drive by it, I could see it. And one day I just happened to look and I was like, that don't look like it's still sealed. And I was like, and it was vodka, so I'm like, I took it and I put it in the freezer to see if somebody kind of like drank something and try to replace it with water. Luckily, vodka doesn't freeze, so it didn't freeze. I was like, okay. But the bottom line is, you, instead of giving me the respect of saying, hey man, I see you got this alcohol here, you mind if I open it up? I probably would like, yeah, okay, not a problem. But the fact that you staying in my house rent free, getting driven to work, getting picked up from work, doing whatever you want to do with no cost, and then you can't even respect me enough to say, hey man, let me, you mind if we open this up and drink a little? You can't do that. I'm like, so it was really like a slap in the face. I mean, not that the other stuff wasn't a slap in the face. I just ignored that stuff,
Mm,
But this was like, cause when I looked at it, I was like, I know the kids wouldn't have, this stuff been here forever and a day, and the kids, I thought about it and I was like, they don't even come through the garage.
mm,
So I was like, it must be him. And then I called, I was like, hey man, look,
mm,
I know what you did. He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, you can't come back here. You
mm,
know,
mm,
it was just like that. I mean, because when you actually open up your eyes and you see, you can't argue with yourself.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like I I know what the standard is,
mm,
and it's blatant. I've been ignoring it, or haven't been focusing on it. But now my eyes are wide open. I see it. I can't ignore it,
mm,
and I have to call a spade a spade. Look, man, you know, it is. You can't respect me enough. I'm doing all this for you. You can't respect me enough to just say, "Hey, man, look, I see this." And it was two different bottles. It was a bottle of vodka and a bottle of tequila. All
mm,
right. At any point in time, you could have said, "Hey, you saving that for a special occasion?" You know, nah, man. Or yeah, hey, you want to open it up? All right, man, cool. Let's sip a little. But not even that. You don't even consider me. You don't respect me enough to just even toss that out to me. You just do it, and then don't even mention, hey man, I opened up that stuff in the garage, man. I was just trying to check it out. Like I'm supposed to not notice that the seal, the wrapper, everything is broken on it. It's like he think I'm a fool.
mm,
I mean, I didn't do myself any favors by not pushing the issue earlier, because when you say 3 days, it should be 3 days. Or hey, things ain't working out the way I planned. Can I stay another week? You know, like I didn't do my due diligence to myself. So I put myself in that situation. So
mm,
I would like to let other people know,
mm.
because my humility tells me, look, you human. Other people might be making the same mistake. You know, so if I don't say it and call myself out for the mistakes that I made, you know, how am I going to better other people that's could be in a position that's similar to that could avoid that whole situation, because it was disrupting my household.
Mm,
I didn't go into all those details, but it was very disruptive to my household, just him being here.
mhm.
So to cut him that much slack and more slack and more slack, because I considered him a friend, I was like, look, people aren't always who you think they are, you
Well,
know.
you have people that they'll take advantage of you.
Yep.
You know, yeah, there were some red flags that you missed, you glossed over, whatever. It's like I always say, look at the situation. There's a reason for that situation to be what it is. Now let me find out what it was, what the reasons were, and then if I can understand that, if there's something I want to work with, well, he can't stay at somebody else's at his mother's house. Why? They don't have room. Sleep on the floor. Well,
And I met his mother.
oh, oh, your mama don't want you in the house? Hmm. I don't know if I can help you.
That,
She had you, and she raised you, and she don't want you around. And it is a problem. But anyway, um, you try to be helpful when you can, but sometimes we be enabling them when we're helping them. Because again, the situation is there for a reason. There's a lesson that he needs to learn. And I'm not being critical because I've done it. Run through the same thing. You know, but I have been managed to avoid it a lot, and I get criticized for it. There was um, one of my nephews um, was kind of going from house to house, staying with whatever, this relative, that relative. And so when my father was in the hospital, um, and we had all kind of went to the hospital to see him, and he wants to ask me if he could come and stay with me for some time while he gets a job and stuff like that there in front of everybody. And so I try to be nice. I don't want to just blast him, which I've wanted to. It's just that no, we can't do that. I can't make that decision, you know, like that. And so, I'm like thinking in my head, if you open your mouth about this again, I will tell you exactly why I don't want you in my house. You know, first off, I don't do that. Secondly, you're a grown ass man. You need to find yourself a place on your own, because if I needed it, could I go to you? You ain't got a window to throw it out and a pot to piss in. So you can't help me, and people say, oh, well, you mean, no. My household is important to me. I can't just be doing things that because, it helps you. I mean, you asked it, well, could you loan me $50 for the hotel for tonight? Yeah, I could do that. Might hurt me, but, I'll do that for you. But come stay in my house? No, I don't know you like that. And there's a reason for you being out in the street, and I'm only going to get your side of that story, not necessarily the truth. But you live and you learn, and you understand these situations. Like, it's, oh, you mean, you're not, you calling what you want. You ain't coming. So
can I address that real quick? That's not being mean if you know what your limitations are. You know what you're willing to deal with. You know what you're willing to accept. If people think it's mean, it's usually because they don't understand the situation. When they fully understand the situation, or if the shoe was on the other foot, they'd be like, man, I should have did what Larry Montgomery did.
See, those people are standing there talking about, oh, you mean. They didn't step up and say, oh, well, let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
But they got an opinion about what you did.
Yeah.
So, listen, I don't care what you think.
I mean, at the end of the day, the choices you make affect you. Mm-hmm. Just like I made a choice and it affected me negatively. Mm-hmm. My father made a choice and it worked out well for him. Mm-hmm. Nobody else has to like what I do. Nobody has to like what you do. But at the bottom of the line is you have control of what your life is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You can open yourself up or you can close yourself off. What works for you works for you. Can't nobody tell you what your happiness entails or what your security is about. They can't tell. You see what you see. You've been given an individual brain to see situations and understand it and make the best decision for you. I don't make a decision because somebody else says, oh, you might see me. Okay, well, I might see mean, but ain't nobody else gonna come help me out of this situation if it goes bad for me. So I have to protect me. So in this situation, I'm gonna say no, and not just no, but heck no, and keep it moving.
I mean, look, what can you do? Some things gonna work out, some things ain't gonna work out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the one to step out there and say, I know it ain't gonna work out, and do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And after that, it didn't work out. So,
okay. So you learn. Yeah. I mean, when you live your life and you see certain things. I tried this, it didn't work. You think I'm gonna try it again? Mm-hmm. No. You know what I'm saying? And unless something seriously changes where I see a different outcome. If you don't learn from previous interactions, your life is your life. You know what I'm saying? It's there, your history is there for you to learn from and grow off of. If it wasn't working in the past, try something different. If it was working in the past, why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. But if it can be better, okay, you might look for a change. But if something is messed up, why do it over and over and over and over again? That's the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Right. And I mean, what can you say? Mm-hmm. You try to do the best you can with what you got. And you want to be helpful when you can. But I don't want to hurt myself to help you. That doesn't make any sense, because then who's going to help me? You can't help me, because right now you need help, and I can't afford to help you. So there's somebody else out there for you, phone call. I've made phone calls for people, and got them help, but it wasn't something that I do. It's something that, well, that's what they do. They run shelters.
Yep.
So you need a place to stay and you don't know them, I'll call them and see if they can help you. But this ain't, no, we don't do that here. I don't do it. Your mother don't do it. And, and we've had plenty of opportunity where people have asked, well, I'll tell you in a minute. I got to ask my wife. She probably going to say no.
Yep.
Because I'm
That's a great deflection right there.
Hey, tell her to say no. But again, you mentioned home training. I spent a year in Atlanta, and getting a job, and we were going to move. So the first month I was there, I stayed with my sister-in-law and her husband, and I didn't know how long I was going to be there because I was looking for a job. You would get a job, then find a place and move in. And so God blessed me that I found a job quickly, and I was able to get to work, because I could take the bus. I didn't need no ride or whatever, and the job provided me with a car, so that worked out even better. But after I was there for 4 weeks, stayed in my room, time to eat. Don't worry about it. I'll eat in the street. You ain't got to go out of your way for me. Got paid. Here's $300. Well, you have to pay no rent. I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. When I got my apartment, moved my stuff, cleaned the room, just like being in a hotel, you take what you came with you when you go, okay, and you pay your bill. And so that's home training. Talk about drinking this liquor or anything like that. Nope, I'm good. I'm in my room watching TV, watch the news, go to bed, go to sleep, get up in the morning, take my butt to work. Come home after when I get off, in my room, and sit there and watch TV. That's good. If you want something, do it out until you get where you're supposed to be or how you want to be. You're in French. Oh, well, you want to just go in the refrigerator? Nope, I'm good. Because all of a sudden you get comfortable and then people got a problem with you. This ain't your house. I'm trying to help you. Focus on getting yourself like you're supposed to get and then get out.
Sometimes it's good to be uncomfortable because it gives you that motivation to get comfortable in your own situation and get it set up, because like you said, some people are funny, and you never know. Like say, I offer you a drink, I might only want to offer you one drink. Next thing you know, you drinking 4 or 5 drinks, and I'm looking at you like, okay, I really only offered you one. You know what I'm saying? And people be like that. Like, well, I only offered him one, and he drank 5 or 6, and now they looking at you like, okay, well, how long you gonna be here? It's like, man, you offered me to drink, but you didn't tell me there was a limit.
See, you don't want to if you drink and you at somebody else's place, I'm not drinking with you. I just want to focus on what I got to do, and I'm not bringing any alcohol. I'm gonna do it out. That'll keep me focused on getting myself out. Okay, because you start to drink, you get comfortable. Might say something that you shouldn't say. Oh well, this sofa here, oh man, it's like rough. Really? You ain't got to sit on it. So take your butt in your room and sit down on the floor if you have to. Anyway, okay, we're down to 4 or 5 minutes. Was there something you want to announce?
Yes. For our listening and our viewers, please, if you have any comments as far as topics that you would like us to address, please, send us a comment, a message, so that we can add it to our list of topics, and hopefully it'll be with us to you us actually discuss those topics.
What are we going to talk about next week?
think we're going into part 3 of financial management. I'm
Okay.
guessing
Part 3. What's part 3?
financial management.
Yeah. What topic in part 3? And we
Uh,
talked about real estate.
oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's all under the umbrella of financial management, but we're talking about real estate. So it's the reason why we discuss friendship is because a lot of people want to get in business with their
Yeah.
friends.
Okay.
And so we felt this is a nice segment to throw in there before we go into real estate and ventures
You
like
can
that.
talk a little more about friendship then, from well, having an understanding of business, because business and friendship, two different animals,
Mm-hmm.
and trust me, one will kill the other.
Definitely.
Okay. So you want to have a good understanding of that. You need to understand what the relationship should be. You need to understand what your responsibilities are and understand what their responsibilities are, and then how to protect yourself in case they don't do what they're supposed to do. So we could talk about that. I'll have to prepare for that one.
Okay.
Okay. And so we're down to 5 minutes. I'm going to say thank you
Thanks
for
for having me.
participating. I appreciate you showing up, and I appreciate what you contributed. And I want to thank my guests, viewers, or however, and say that God bless you, and God willing, we'll see you next week.
God bless.
You going to say goodbye?
I said God bless.
Oh, okay.
That's the best way to say goodbye.
There you go. God bless. Amen.
All right.